Hey, how's it going?
Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
What's
Before
up?
we get started tonight, be sure to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notified every time we upload a video and go live. So tonight we got a topic. Actually, it's a TikTok video.
We're going to dissect it.
We are going to dissect the video. It's about. Is it really about the feminists? Is she like more feminist?
She's addressing some of the buzzwords and trends on TikTok as far as, well, you'll see. You'll see. I don't want to ruin it.
Oh, this sounds like
I'm
it's gonna be
excited. I'm excited.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man.
The benefits of having a wife in today's society. Why are 80% of divorces initiated by women? How come women don't want to be wives anymore? So since y'all keep throwing this around on the internet, we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about it for real. I'm not pulling no punches. I'm going to shoot straight from the hip. I'm going to tell you the truth. It's not that we don't want to be wives anymore. Marriage was always the goal. It's that we want to be husbands. That's right. We want to be husbands. You want to know why? Because husband privileges are lit, but wife duties at present in America, oh, I know you guys absolutely love taking offense to any logical point that I make while listening to some $1 million podcaster who's built like a Greek god, dates supermodels, and drives the Lambo. But why you're listening to a man who's never walked a mile in your shoes is a little bit befoozling. These men are out of touch with reality. They don't know the day-to-day in 80% of American households. And on the off chance they ever did decide to get married, their wife would have a nanny, a secretary, a maid, a personal chef. And if she didn't, she'd have nothing but time to dote on her husband's every single whim. So some alpha male red pill podcaster jamming down your throat that your wife isn't submissive enough or feminism is the problem is a little bit absurd. At present, all Americans have to work. We have to work to survive. Case in point, you can't even kick your adult kids out anymore. They don't stand a fighting chance in this economy. If you are of adult age, you have to work. You have to contribute. And being a wife and an employee is a conundrum that a lot of husbands just aren't registering to date. Now, let's not get it confused, because I know what you're thinking when I say we want husband privileges. That means you think that we can now have a cage fight and we're equally yoked, because that's feminism to you. But no, I mean, like, you know how nice it would be to come home to a cooked dinner and a clean house after a long day of work, hand my check off to somebody else, let them worry about the bills, tinker in the garage while the kids run amok, and, you know, my wife corrals them, spend a Sunday drinking beer and watching TV while somebody else cooks and cleans, have my socks matched, my laundry done and put away. I didn't have to do that. My coffee ready in the morning. Like, all of the above sounds amazing. Sign me up. Even if it's not all the time. Even if it's only 25% of the time. Maybe 40% if we're being generous, right? But husband privileges are lit while wife duties are insane. You know, the reality for a lot of married working mothers is that they have to do all of the above while still working 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 days a week at a job they hate, with a bunch of other married men who sweetie honey baby them or sexually harass them until their head is ready to explode, just so they can go home at night and still have to cook, clean, and do laundry, all while maintaining a look, diet, exercise, hair, and nails, because God forbid you let yourself go for a second, then you're not really a woman, you're not feminine anymore, all while attending to everybody's administrative affairs and oddities, school pictures, choir recitals, gymnastics, karate, football practice, football games, football snacks that you gotta hand decorate, because if you don't, you're the worst mother on the team. You gotta take them to doctor's appointments, dentist appointments, optometrist appointments, emergency room visits, sick visits that you have to take off of work for, and your male boss just doesn't understand, all while restocking all of the toiletries, groceries, cleaning supplies, clipping coupons, and going to parent-teacher conferences, tending to everybody's sick days except your own, because apparently being an adult woman means you just don't get sick, or if you do, absolutely nobody cares. And majority of married working mothers are citing that they are single mothers. They are single married mothers. And the saddest part about all of this, which I know you guys see, you have eyes, you have brains, you love throwing around the fact that 80% of divorces filed are by women. Yes, when women are leaving, it's not for infidelity or money issues or even abuse for that matter. It is simply because they need a break. They need a break. That is the primary reason that most divorce attorneys are citing that women at present are filing for divorce. They are throwing their entire marriage away just so they can get a break. And I really just want you guys to register the magnitude of that last statement. They're throwing out a lifetime commitment just so they can get a break. So before you ever ask, what are the benefits of having a wife, or telling a woman you're gonna die alone, get cats, sir, I'm pretty sure that's the point. Right? Because all I gotta do is scoop the litter and leave a can of food out. It's hassle-free cuddles and pension. Like, in the event of divorce, even if the father only gets the children every other weekend, that is straight out of the month of uninterrupted downtime. No working, no
Very
children, no nothing. Okay? You could sleep in, you could shop, you could clean without having to immediately clean afterwards. You could date again. Yeah, that's right. Have a date night with somebody who does want to romance you, or maybe appreciates your sense of humor a little bit. It is about being a fucking human. And here's what really bothers me the absolute most about it is the cycle. It's the cycle that nobody acknowledges from both parties, right? Majority of men don't realize how much of a blessing having a wife is until they lose her. And even then, they don't acknowledge it. They become bitter and angry, and they say they feel unseen and unheard. And this is the energy exchange that happens when divorce takes place, right? The women spent the entire marriage feeling angry and bitter and unseen and unheard. And when they leave, guess what? It's the man's turn. Now he's out there thinking his ex-wife is getting her groove back because she dropped 30 pounds and looks amazing. In reality, she just finally has uninterrupted downtime to take a nap or make it to the gym. Meanwhile, he's tuning into some billionaire playboy who's giving him something to point the finger at. Also, he can dodge accountability. Women don't take accountability. It's feminism. It's feminism's fault, right? And feminism, sir, did not ruin your marriage. You did. Okay, feminism gave your wife the legal ability to leave when it all went to shit and she couldn't take it anymore. And guess what? She's out there dating recent divorcees that feel exactly the same way you do. They just pretend they don't, so they can get back the wife that they lost in another woman. So why don't we just skip all the rigmarole and acknowledge the elephant in the room, right? Traditional roles have been abolished. It is what it is. You could shake your hands at feminism and capitalism until you're blue in the face. You can stomp around and pout. You can listen to all the red pill podcasts and fifth wave feminism that you want. Unless you got a time machine we can all hop in, it's going to be what it's going to be. Wives are no longer wives. Husbands are no longer husbands. A spouse's job is to be a good partner. And there is benefits in that for everybody. Be present, participate, and be a good partner. And for the love of fucking God, shut up about it already. Fuck off.
There's so much
That's a lot.
unpacked into that video, but my biggest gripe is there's a couple things. One, it sounds like she's bitching about her ex-husband or current husband, and she's taking that on TikTok. Second one, did you see the light change in the background? And she had she made parts of that video throughout the day because it was dark. It looked like it was.
It's absolutely clipped. I mean, so
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she
Right,
didn't
yeah, it
change
was clipped because-
clothes.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't change
exactly.
clothes,
So
yeah.
she's pissed off that somebody did her wrong. She's lashing out at some guy that pissed in her Wheaties.
So I disagree with that because that's the way she is pretty much on all of her videos.
Is she?
So she is screamy like that on all of her videos. You should watch her a little bit.
That-
She
that-
does have some good points.
That doesn't mean she's not bitter. She is definitely a bitter woman.
Oh, she's a
Someone has done
bitter
her
woman.
wrong.
Yeah.
Someone has done her wrong and she's taking it out on everybody else.
Well, I mean, it's possible, but at the same time, that's just the way she is on TikTok, right? I don't know how she is in person, but I do know on all of her videos that's the way she is.
I'm gonna guess bitchy.
Well, I,
I mean,
wouldn't say
I
bitchy.
couldn't-
I mean,
I
are you
couldn't
talking about
be-
in real life? I
She's
have no clue.
aggressive. She's
She
aggressive.
Is. She is.
I could not act that way
She's
in everyday
Puerto
life. Or I'm sorry, I mean take that back. I could not act that way just on TikTok as a skit. There's no way.
I mean, she comes across very aggressive and very
Forthcoming.
forthcoming, and like you said, she's Puerto Rican. We have another TikTok friend who I won't mention that is also a spicy Puerto Rican that comes across like that
Yeah.
sometimes. But I do think that she made some very valid points.
So I agree with some of the things that she said. I disagree that she made it all about women. Because men go through pretty much the exact same shit that she mentioned.
Like what in particular?
Like taking care of the house, going grocery shopping, paying the bills. I mean, not just women do that. So
Not just women do that, no. However, comma. Henry, when was the last time you mopped your floor?
2 days ago.
Okay. Okay, you're the exception.
I would do
I
it
also-
too. How many times have I folded clothes in the dryer?
You do that.
I was getting ready to say, I also did laundry today. I also
But see-
emptied the dishwasher this morning when I
Exactly
got
what I
up and
was
made my
saying.
coffee.
What I was saying earlier. Women don't do the dishes anymore. They have a dishwasher. Your hands are no longer your dishwasher unless it's
you
certain pots and
still
pans.
have to rinse the dishes and put them in the dishwasher and
That's
then
true.
unload the dishwasher.
Well,
That
if
is
you have
true.
everybody rinse your dish before they put it in the sink, or rinse their dish and put it in the dishwasher, problems you eliminated an extra step of work.
Well, me and my wife go back and forth on that because I'm the type of person that likes to, as soon as I get done with my dish, I'll go and rinse it off and I'll stick it in the dishwasher. She likes to have a dish, the fucking sink filled with water and dish soap. So she just puts her plate in that or her dish or whatever she's using in that and let it soak all day. And then of a nighttime right before we get ready to go to bed, she empties that out and puts it in the dishwasher. It's just two different types of style. But we do compromise, right? We compromise with each other. So if I see the sink is full, I'll stop what I'm doing. I'll clean out the sink. I'll put the shit in the dishwasher. If there's nothing in the sink, I won't even fill it up. I'll just put the shit in the dishwasher, and she will too. So now, how can I put this?
Any way you
A
want.
lot of the things that she was saying was based off traditional values, traditional relationships, how traditional relationships and marriages ran. That shit doesn't work today. And the reason it doesn't work is because we don't have traditional relationships anymore.
I don't even think it's so much that we don't have traditional relationships. Is like she pointed out, we don't have an economy that's conducive to traditional relationships because everybody has to work.
I agree. I absolutely agree with that. I'm glad you said that because that's exactly what I was heading to. We don't have traditional marriages and relationships anymore because both parties have to work. Both parties have to do pretty much the same thing. And what she said at the end, being a fucking human, that's absolutely true. But you signed up for that type of relationship when you got together. I mean, I'm a military person. You signed up for it, deal with it. Don't run away from it. That's the way I see it.
I just heard a lot of excuses in that video.
Well, the whole 80% of women filing for a divorce, honestly, what she said is wrong.
That is inaccurate info. Yeah.
It is very inaccurate because a lot of, let's look at the statistics for lesbians. Lesbians is 75%. Right, and either one of them's a woman that's filing for divorce, but the cause that they're filing for divorce is the exact same reasons that women say that they're divorcing men. So who's the issue here? I mean,
Where's my tomato slicing knife?
to do it.
I'm just
We're
saying.
here.
I mean,
So-
common denominator.
But like, okay, so in my state, you don't have to have a reason. It's a no fault. You don't have to. Incompatibility. My incompatibility is that I am tired of doing everything for the household and you not contributing. That's my reasoning. Incompatibility. And that's all you have to say. So I don't know that you can really track cause really. But I want to start more back at the beginning of her video and talk about Andrew Tate for a second.
That's fine by me. We can talk about him.
Okay, so the Tate Bros, the Tate Bro podcasters, as she called them, the Red Pill
Now,
podcasters.
I'm going to stop
Well, I
right
think
there.
she was more talking about Fresh and Fit than Andrew Tate, honestly.
Wow.
But if you look at the quote-unquote Tate Bros, Andrew Tate's brother is completely the opposite
Christian.
of Andrew.
Well,
Christian.
but when I say a
Yes.
Tate bro, it doesn't mean the Tate brothers. That means the guys who
Okay.
subscribe to
I
the
just-
the bro. It's like a gym bro, but they're called a Tate bro.
Okay, I just wanted to.
So the people who their target audience, right, is that 20-something-year-old male. That's their target
Younger
audience.
generation of males, yeah.
Right. And so these young males, I'm not even going to call them young men. These young males are going into marriages, or some of them are already in marriages and are taking in this and jumping on the bandwagon of this way of thinking. And they want that submissive wife. They want all the things that those podcasters talk about. But they don't have the maturity to sift through what they're saying and pick out the good, because there are some good things that they may say, right? But they don't have the maturity to pick out the good from the bad. And so they're trying to incorporate these lessons into their relationships and their marriages. And like she said, you're listening to some dude who's never walked a mile in your shoes. And you're basing your entire life and the relationship that you want and the marriage you want off of some dude who is extremely wealthy, looks great, drives a Lambo, all the things.
Okay.
Because
okay,
you want to
hold
be
up.
that.
But, yeah,
Hold up, hold
I
up,
was-
hold up.
I
So
was-
let's look at women's makeup and their
Well, we don't-
fashion sense.
Hang on one second, please. The reason he may not know what it's like to be like walk a mile in the average Joe's shoes, but he grew up poorer than I did. Now, here's my thing: I'm not going to hate somebody that actually found an opportunity to be successful and ran with it and became successful. That to me is unfair to do. Just because he outsmarted a good chunk of the average Joes and ran with it and became somebody, I'm not going to fault the dude for that. I don't believe in everything he says. I'm not a
And just
fan of him
because he
100%.
outsmarted them does not mean I have to
No, you're right. I agree
respect
with you.
anything about him, actually.
So,
I really don't.
so I agree with Mike. There's a lot of things that Andrew Tate, Fresh and Fit, all these podcast, red pill podcasters that they put on their podcast that they say. Honestly, a lot of their messaging I think is good. Now the way they bring it or present it to people is probably a little rough. It needs some work on that end. I mean, especially Andrew Tate. The way he presents a lot of his stuff is more of a dominant, you are the man, you're going to beat everybody. No, that's fucking stupid. But the message itself for a man to better himself, to, be successful, take care of his family, that is absolutely a good message. The problem that it is kind of what you said. They are immature. They can't determine what is good and what is bad out of his messaging and be able to pull out the good and take away or, subside the bad. But one of the things I've noticed that a lot of I won't say traditional, today's TikTokers, the generation of people on TikTok, is they see Andrew Tate, they see his message, they don't listen to his message. They just see all the bad stuff that he's doing. They don't look at, what the actual message is. And then when they don't look at that message, they already fucking judge him off of it. Now, let's go back to what I was getting ready to say about, so you were saying that Andrew Tate, red pill podcasters, they haven't lived in a day of a life with an average Joe. And these average Joes should not be taking what they say and running with it. I agree somewhat. But women cannot say that they don't do the same thing when you see women wanting to dress up with all this makeup on. They want all these different designer clothes. When you see fashion shows and what was it? The fucking angels from fucking
Victoria's Secret.
Victoria's
Yeah, the
Secrets.
angels, yeah.
So you can't say that that's not influential or influence
Influential?
because it is. Yeah, it's
Influential.
Yeah. Yeah,
'Cause
it
it
is.
is.
It is. But I would counter that by saying that somebody wanting to wear makeup or clothes or something isn't quite the same as the way that somebody runs their family.
How is it not?
Because I mean, I can see a fashion show and be like, I really want to wear those, that lingerie or the clothes or whatever, and ooh, yeah, I want to do that, and I might order a knockoff of it or something and try to wear it, and that's cute. That is not affecting how I treat my spouse, how I parent my children. That is not changing the trajectory of my family. Whereas I think that some of the people who have jumped on board with the red pill podcast or whatever, I don't even know what we're supposed to call them. I think it can really change their outlook on how they view their spouse. And they don't view their spouse as their partner. They view their spouse as less than because they aren't mature enough to really sift through and understand the message. They are only and you see it on TikTok all the time with especially the younger guys. They just don't get it. They treat their wife. I mean, you go back to like, oh well, she's got to be a virgin and her body count and da 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 da. You get into those, you're changing your whole trajectory. So I think that is way different than a woman seeing some lingerie and wanting to buy it because she wants to look like a supermodel.
Okay. Okay, I can agree with a lot of that, but where a woman gets all this makeup and wants to wear, whatever supermodels are wearing, that generates attention. And I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure myself, Mike, and Bobby, you guys can agree or disagree with me, but we don't give a fuck about makeup. We don't care about skimpy ass clothes, right?
I do like the skimpy clothes with her around me. I do.
Yeah, but that's
I'm
only
not-
around you, right? You don't want that shit around in public.
Right. I mean, a little cleavage doesn't bother me.
So-
If she's showing a little cleavage, that doesn't bother me. But I'm saying if she's like revealing a lot of shit in public, that's a different story.
But that does go around of how you treat your spouse or your significant other.
I do think it goes both ways, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, so these Tate bros or whatever you want to call them listen to these podcasts and decide that's the way they're supposed to act. Women see these supermodels doing this, they're using this brand doing that, and that demands a certain caliber of man. It does go both ways. It is not just a one-way road.
Yeah. So
I can concede to that to a point, yes.
I agree with what Bobby was just saying, because what he just said is basically what a lot of people on TikTok is being saying is women. Let's just say an average woman is between a 5 and a 6, right? We can all agree an average woman is between a 5 and a 6.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
An average man is between a 3 and a 4 today when it comes to attractiveness, right?
That means
So-
I'm ugly, but all right.
But I'm just saying in general, and based off TikTok societal
Right.
demands, right, or attractiveness, average man is about a 3 and a 4, and average woman is between a 5 and a 6 in attractiveness. The average woman absolutely has more options when it comes to partners than the average man. So if the average woman can grab a 8 or a 9, for some reason, they think that they are an 8 or a 9 because they've grabbed 8 or a 9. Now, a man that's a 3 or 4, if he's lucky, he can get a 5. And if he does get that 5, he doesn't think he is a 5. He knows he's out of his league. But he's fucking grateful that he got the 5.
And I will give you that a man can be a 3 or a 4, but have immense talent or wealth, and immediately he's a 10.
But that's because women value money over
I'm not
what
going to
we
disagree
value.
with that.
That's-
I'm not
Very
going to disagree with
materialistic.
that.
Yeah,
Very
women
materialistic.
men look at as women as sex objects, and women look at men as success objects. It's the same thing. It's yeah, the more money a man has, he's gonna walk taller. He's gonna feel better about himself, and he's gonna honestly feel unstoppable. And it's the power of money. And women do it too. I'm not gonna knock that. Only men do it. Women do it too. You got money. You got a taste of money. You're being successful. You're gonna walk and act different. You're gonna socialize with people a little bit different. You're going to surround your friends with like-minded individuals of yourself when it comes to that type of lifestyle.
And so that kind of goes back to the tape bros or whatever. The people they're idolizing do have that. They
Yes.
do have all of that money. Something about the way that their message comes across, these guys believe that they deserve everything. They see themselves as that. Does that make sense?
Deserving of
Well, I mean-
I understand what you're saying. I don't necessarily agree though, because the way I'm taking it is you're saying it's okay for women to fake it till they make it, but if men try to do that, they're wrong for it.
No, I don't think anybody should fake it till they make it. But
So I think I know what she's saying. I keep going the wrong way. My bad. I think I know what she's saying. So yes, because they are a millionaire, they have a shit ton of money. They think they have, or they think that they're a higher value than an average man. They are, plain and simple.
Right.
They are.
they are. but these young men who are young males who are listening to them, who are 22 years old, that don't have a career, but they got a job or whatever. They are putting themselves in that same category as I am a high value man.
That's where the maturity comes in, right?
And that's where the maturity comes in. And that's where I think that, and I mean, I'm not, these guys who do these podcasts, I mean, they're not stupid, because their target audience eats this shit up because they're immature.
Yeah, they got to where they are because they are very intelligent individuals.
Yeah, and I mean they're catering to their market, right? Their market is those young men or young boys or young males, whatever you want to call them, and those males that are they're earning or wanting somebody to guide them, to
Right.
give them that better life.
Because most of them probably had absent fathers.
Exactly.
And that's
so,
what I said earlier. They have no role model to look up to. So to them, that's a role model. That's actually they see a guy that has money. It's someone to look up to. So if somebody makes money, even if we knew somebody that makes close to what they're making, it makes 10 or even makes 10 times more than we do combined. You're going to look
So-
up to them. You're going to figure out what they are doing to get to what did they do to get to where they're at today.
So where I see a lot of women are getting mad about the tape bros or the red pill podcast people, whatever it is, they see all these little clips on TikTok, and it's not showing the whole story.
Right.
It's only showing those, go out and dominate your woman type clips.
And
They're
Bobby's
not
gone.
showing. They're not showing all the pre up to that, right? Because I've actually sat and watched 2 hours of tape videos.
Oh, me
on
too.
YouTube.
Me too. I have.
I never went
have.
that goddamn far.
No,
Jesus
I mean, we've-
Christ. I haven't
definitely have
either. I
not.
can't.
We have. I mean, I have. I've.
Ain't no we in that one there, dear.
No, you like the Pierce Morgan interview was almost 2 hours long, and
that was a hell of an interview.
You know, and
That
I
was a
watched the
very
whole
good
thing.
one. That was
Yeah.
good.
So Fresh and Fit, I've watched a few of their videos from full length, and most of their podcasts are about an hour and a half to 2 hours long. But all you see out of it on TikTok is these little, 30-second, 3-minute videos, which is like in the middle of the shit that is nothing but the drama part, right? But one thing that Fresh and Fit absolutely point out to everyone, and they put disclaimers all over the fucking place, you have to work your ass off to get to this point before you
Right.
can start implementing these things. If you want this lifestyle, you have to have this type of lifestyle first before you can even attempt to this. Because if you do, you're going to get slapped out of you,
So I think that and I agree with what you're saying, because I have watched some at length, and I did there were a lot of things that they've said. I've watched Fresh and Fit. I've watched some Andrew Tate and some others, and I do think that they do have some good messages in there. You have to weed through it, but there are some good messages. But in this movement, I guess, that we're seeing in the younger males and even some younger women, females, who want to go back to those traditional roles and traditional values. And we all know, like she said in that video,
The economy doesn't support that.
it
right
doesn't
now.
support that. You can still have kind of a hybrid of the traditional, which I consider myself one of those, more of a hybrid. But I see it's problematic, and I hate that word, but it's problematic whenever the kids who are coming up to marriage age and are wanting the traditional, to bring back the traditional roles
Gender
and
roles.
traditional value, gender roles and things, when this is what they're modeling it after and using as their blueprint for what their marriage is going to be or what their relationships are going to be, I think we're in trouble, because it's just not a feasible model to follow in today's world. It's just not.
So I agree and disagree. I agree it doesn't fit today's model of economy, but at the same time, some of the messaging from it, I absolutely truly believe in. In order to achieve anything, to be successful, you're going to have to work your ass off. There's going to be time that you have to sacrifice away from your family. I mean, hell, I was in the military for 23 years, and I lost 6 years of that just being fucking deployed. So I had to sacrifice time with my wife and my child just to go to fucking, protect the freedom of the United States, which in my opinion was fucking stupid at the time, but I did it. But where I disagree at is a lot of, no offense, but a lot of women keep saying that they want this partner, right? That's one of the biggest things that women say that they want in a relationship is a partner. And they want to be equal, right? You cannot be a partner and be equal at the same time. Being a partner is a goal that two people share and they work together to achieve that goal. And then being equal means that you're doing the same thing to achieve that goal. If you're doing the same thing, you are wanting to be either the man or you're wanting to be the woman. And what that woman said, I can't remember her name on the video, but what she said, she wanted a husband. That women are wanting to be husbands because of husband privilege.
Yeah.
Husband privilege does not exist.
Yeah, I was just
Disagree.
about to say that.
Yeah, here's where the argument
This
comes
is where our
in.
argument started
This is
earlier.
where it comes in.
Disagree.
So here's where it kind of starts with the argument. The fact is, women have to be there, just like what she said in the video. Women are the ones who take off of work to take the kids to doctor's appointments, emergency rooms, etc., etc. But my honest opinion would be, the fact is, whoever makes the most money should not be the one to take off of work in order to do that. If you make less money, let's say, for example, if you made more money than I did and we had a child together, then I would be the one to take off of work to do the doctor's appointments. And I would also, if I had somewhat of a flexible work schedule, I would have to work around that doctor's appointments to my days off so we don't miss a beat with money. Or use some vacation time, or use some PTO time. And that's a lot of things what I've noticed. People are not using or utilizing that at all. They're blaming it on, I have to take time off work. No, if you have a job, typically a full-time job, most people are corporate America now these days, have PTO, have vacation days, take a half-day vacation, whatever take that day
Oh,
off.
I know. When my children were younger,
So-
I had years where I never actually took a vacation day for a vacation. Every vacation day and PTO day I had was because one of the kids was sick, one of them had an appointment, they had a school event, they
you
had
still,
this,
but
that,
you're
but
still,
the other.
so that way you're still getting paid. And your doctor's
Yes.
appointment's a couple hours, and you come home and you enjoy the rest of your day off. Or with the sick kid, the child typically is going to bed. You get the medicine. The child is sick, tired, or whatever. You give the child some soup or whatever the case may be. The child typically plays video games or whatever, relaxes, or just goes to sleep because he or she's not feeling good.
Well, the way I see it, I mean, the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child, is absolutely true, especially in today's economy. Today's world, it takes more than the parents, even two parents, to raise a kid if they're both working. So you have to use family members, you have to use friends, you have to use people that you pay. I mean, hell, you can get a babysitter that can drive and take a kid to a doctor's appointment as long as you have a power of attorney.
That's true.
So,
Yeah, most mothers won't.
oh,
won't do
absolutely,
that.
I agree with that. I'm not saying I'm not out here presenting that you should go hire a babysitter and give them a power of attorney to take your kids to the to the doctor. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying there if there's a will, there's a way. And if your job,
it's a possibility.
yeah, if your job is requiring you to be at work, and that's your job, that's your livelihood, that's how you get paid. You got to work around it. Now PTO or most PTO is broken down in hours today. It's not in days anymore. Vacation
Yeah.
time is the same. So you can take hours away from your, and I agree with Mike when it comes to, if you got two people working in a household, let's just say one of them, it doesn't matter if it's the man or the woman, is making more money than the other one. The person that makes the least amount of money should be the one going out and taking care of the kids or taking time off to take care of the kids when something needs to be taken care of. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because it just makes sense logically, because you don't want to take the person who makes the bread of the house and take money away from that, because you're shooting yourself in the foot if you do that.
Right. Well, so technically, I guess that depends though. Like, if the person that makes the most is salary, it doesn't matter if they miss that day.
No, I
They're
agree.
both
I agree
hourly,
with that.
then
Salary
yes.
is, yeah. Yeah, most corporate America is salary now.
I
but-
agree. I mean,
So-
you can always work with your corporation or whoever your company is to see if you can take off a
Right.
couple hours early to be able to take care of your kid or go pick them up from school or shit like that.
Which some bosses aren't very accommodating, and it does look poorly on you as an employee. Now, back to husband privilege. I really want to unpack husband privilege.
Yeah, I would. I want to
Okay.
hear this. What do women
Yeah.
consider husband
Well,
privilege?
okay, so
hold on,
like,
hold on. Let me start by saying I'm single, but I don't understand what husband privilege
okay,
is.
so let me break it down for you. I'm going to go back to when I was married to my daughter's dad. Okay, so I had two kids. Let's say when she was 2, okay, which meant Dylan was, son was in like 6th, 7th grade. So, I had 2 kids, both active, and I'm working full time. He's working full time. Okay. I get up in the morning, typical day. I get up in the morning. I get the toddler up, breakfast, dressed, ready to go, get the other one up, ready to go to school, get him out the door and on the bus. I load up the toddler, drive her to daycare, then I go to work. Okay. Now, during that day, I might get a phone call from the school because of this or that, or I might get a phone call from the daycare, or any of these things. I'm the one getting all the phone calls, right? Me. I'm the one. Oh, by the way, someone has a doctor's appointment. I need to call the doctor. I need to do that. I need to do this. I need to do that. So, oh, he's got a school project. We got to go by Hobby Lobby and get stuff for
Can we
this.
stop right there for a minute?
Sure.
So when you enrolled the kids in school, who did you put down as a point of contact?
Both of us.
Okay, well,
Who
that's
do
the
they
school.
call?
That's the school. I mean,
Who do they call?
I can't.
They call me
I can't
because if
defend
they
that.
called him, I guarantee you he wouldn't answer the phone. Most guys wouldn't answer the phone, especially if
Now,
they know that
wait
it's
a minute.
the
Now,
school
wait
calling.
a minute.
Oh, absolutely
You
disagree
didn't
with
give
that.
his position at the time as a job to where if they called him, he could not answer the phone.
Well, but he worked schedules sometimes. Now, he would work schedules where he wouldn't. Some days he would go in from 8 to 5. Sometimes he would work noon to 10 to 6 or 12 to 8, whatever, or he would work nights. He was working all kinds of different schedules. If he was off during the week, which he was frequently, I still got up and took the kid to daycare and made sure the other one got out to school. Most women do that. Okay, so continue on to my day. I'm working, taking care of the kid's business while I'm at work. I get off work. I go pick up the toddler from daycare. The other one has already ridden the bus home, so he's at home. I come in, wrangle him because he's playing video games or something, so I got to get him to do his homework. I got to start cooking dinner, and we got to eat quick because the other one has some kind of a sports practice because he always had some kind of a sports practice. So I got to load the kids up after I shove food down their throat, go to sports practice. In the middle of all this, then I'm thinking, okay, no, I got to run back to the house while he's at practice because I got to put some laundry in. I got to do this. I got to do that. Oh, I got to go by the store because somebody's out of deodorant and somebody's out of diapers. And, oh, I got to do this. Oh, I got to do that. Oh, we still got to work on that school project when we get home. And we get home and I make sure baths, showers, homework's finished. Everybody goes to bed. I stay up and finish the laundry before I finally go to bed. Okay. What about that day was good for me?
Spent time with the kids.
Okay. Okay.
Wait. So
what?
there's two crucial things missing here. What did you do for work, and what did he do for work?
He was a cop,
Okay.
state trooper.
Okay.
I worked in an office.
So
In,
would-
in
would
public
you-
safety, same job I have now, but in an office.
Was your hours the same?
My hours were I worked 8 to 5. His hours were they would rotate. 1 week he would be on days, 8 to 5s. The next week he would be on 10 to 7s. The next, that kind of thing. So he wasn't always home. So it was a little bit different because he didn't always have a set schedule. Okay. But hear me out. I have a lot of girlfriends that I went through this whole period of life with that they were in the same boats, but their husbands worked 8 to 5s. They worked normal jobs or 8 to 6, whatever, normal hour jobs, right? We all were living the same life. We would all talk about the fact that we all felt like single mothers, but we were married. Because what did the husbands do? The husbands got up, went to work, came home. They didn't have to cook dinner. They weren't doing homework with the kids. They weren't worried about the dishes. Half the time they didn't even know if there was a practice. They would have to ask, is there practice tonight? Or there's a game tonight? What field are we on? Where are we going? What is going on?
Well, is that also part of miscommunication? Is she not informing her husband of these situations?
Oh, no.
Do you guys? Is there's a
Here's
schedule?
the thing. They
Because
get
all
the same
sports-
emails.
all
They
s-
get the same emails we get.
But
They
there's-
just rely on the women to keep track of it.
But there's also a schedule handed out on a piece of paper, not only emails that you can use, or if it is emailed,
Yeah.
you can print it out and post it on the
Post
damn
it on the
fridge.
refrigerator, which I did, which all of us did. That's what we do. That's what moms do. But husbands tend to just leave it and let
Oh, y'all can't see that.
the women, because and maybe it's the women's fault that we've made it too easy for the husbands, and we've done it to ourselves.
No,
We've done
so-
it. Maybe we've
okay.
done it to ourselves.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there because yes, it is the women's fault, but it is not because you made it too easy. You know why it's your women's fault? Because you guys have taken over what is called the management of the lifestyle. And
Because somebody has to.
Hold up. And when the man tries to change any of that, women typically go to fuck off the rails. Because you're trying to micromanage or control them now. So we hear this, and when we hear, "Oh, I don't want to be fucking combatant. I don't want to be a combatant against my wife. I'm going to fucking shut the fuck up and let her do what she wants to do."
So, something I heard in my marriage, and I know other women have heard this too, is, well, if you need help, you should have just asked me to do it. You should have just asked me or told me that you needed this done or you needed help with this. Why should we have to ask? Why can't you be an active participant in the running of the household?
Because 9 out of 10 times when a man comes up to the woman and says, hey, give me these tasks and I will complete them, the woman goes, after completion, no, you did this wrong. No, you did that wrong. No, do it this way.
It is a micromanaging, and I've said that before. And I'm not saying you do it, because I know you
Oh, don't do it that way. I want you done this way.
You don't do that, and I'm very blessed and grateful that you do not do that. But a good chunk of women literally will give you a task if you ask, or even give you a task if you don't ask. And once you do it, it's criticized. And I don't agree with that at all. If you got it done, if the job is still completed, it doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as it's fucking done.
I think the biggest issue is communication, honestly. Me and my wife used to have this big issue in the very beginning when we first got together. She would do the exact same thing. She would manage the fucking lifestyle. But when I came into the picture and said, no, well, here, I'll take these things on. You can do these things. She'd be like, no, I want to do that. Or no, I got it. Or, well, you know, if you could take off time from work, because I'm in a traditional marriage. I am the only provider in my household. Even when I was in the Army, I'm the only provider in my household. So my job is required. If something requires for me to do my job, it don't matter. I have to sacrifice time with my family to go do it, because that's how we live, right? But when it started becoming an issue is when, I mean, I'll 100% admit that there was times where I did not participate in the marriage. I was there just to bring in the check, if I can put it that way, right? Because of miscommunication or the lack of communication. I would come back from work or come home from work, shower, shave, eat dinner, sit down and decompress because work was fucking horrible that day. And then I would pretty much ignore anything that her and the daughter needed. So that happened quite a bit, but that was after some things happened while I was deployed and my mind was all fucked up. Now, once I got my mind fixed and I started seeing that, you know, I needed to start participating. I was losing time with my kids and my daughter and my wife. I actively had to change. And that's when communication started getting better. I would set my wife down and say, like, look, here's the things that I need from you. You need to tell me when I'm doing these things or I'm doing that or I'm not doing something. I cannot read your fucking mind. And that's one thing that a lot of women do when it comes to men. They think that body language will tell a man their feelings. No. Go ahead.
We don't see that. And I have this meme that I absolutely love, being a car guy. It's a picture of this dude. He's in his garage. He's out. He's doing like racing and all this other stuff. And then it goes to her and it's like, I won't talk to him. So no, I'm mad at him. And he's just having a good time. She hasn't bugged him all day. I mean, when you don't say anything, we don't take the hints. It's just how we are. We are very literal creatures. If you say, hey, this is what I want done, we're going to get it done.
Yeah. Now, if you say, hey, can you get it done? Or can you do this? And we do it. And then you say, well, I wish you would have did it this way. Or, well, you know, or actually just straight up say, I should have did it myself because you fucked it all up. Because I've heard women do that to their husbands too. And it's like, wow, that's fucked up. You shouldn't do that.
Is it done? Is it clean? Is it folded? Is it done? As long as the task is completed, it doesn't matter. Now, here's my thing. If I was given a task and she was like that, I would actually do it when you're not around. That way I can't be criticized. And if you ask me, how did you do it? I'm like, it doesn't matter. Is it done? Is it clean? Are the clothes folded? Are they put away? That's all that matters to me. Really, that's really all that matters.
And I do know that there are some women that do that. And
a
I
lot
agree.
of women really do that.
And
though.
I agree that that's not helping our cause as women to not feel the way that we do, that some do. Okay, now I can remember growing up. My mom stayed at home. She was a stay-at-home mom for most of my growing up years, and now she works. Now her and my dad both work. So when I was growing up, my dad would come home from work, and he would, you know, we'd have dinner. He would, you know, we'd sit at the table. We'd have our family dinner. He'd say a few words because he's a man of few words, and we'd get up, start cleaning the kitchen, and he would go out in the garage and tinker on his cars and watch his TV out there and do what dads do, right? And it wasn't really an issue. However, now that they don't have any kids in the house and both my mom works and my dad works, he is more of a participant. Like when he comes home from work and my mom comes home from work, they both pitch in and take care of, you know, the household stuff. And I think that there's a lot of marriages that, like that woman was saying, where the women feel like single mothers, because I did feel like a single mother in that marriage, and kind of, you know, to the point where when divorce happened, it was like, well, hell, I'm already feel like I'm doing everything by myself anyway. This really isn't going to be that different because I'm already doing everything by myself.
Yeah.
But when
Go ahead, Mike.
But when you sit there, when women say, you know, I felt single, do you have the house that you want? Do you have the car that you want? Are the bellies full? Do you have the clothes that you want? Do you have the yard that you want and the flowers that you want?
I mean, some women can provide all that for themselves, contrary to what some men think. They can provide all that.
Right. But if you're not making the amount of money to get all that without his support, without his money, basically, and he's working to give you majority of what you want that you couldn't get by yourself, is that fair to sit there and say you felt single? Because literally you have everything what you want almost to the T. Is that
And sometimes
wrong?
losing that aggravation is worth it.
Okay.
It absolutely is. We're the exact same way. It is sometimes it is just cut, sling, load, and get rid of that fucking aggravation.
No, I was just asking. I'm like, okay, I was just asking. So, if somebody has everything they want, and they can, you know, they didn't have that to begin with, and they wanted it, and he's working his ass off to get her what she wants for the family, or no, let me say for the family and personal, and she starts complaining, then okay, yeah, I can see cutting it.
But if she's working too, she may not be making as much as him, but she is contributing to that lifestyle by bringing in a paycheck.
For sure.
It's not him by himself.
For sure. But you wouldn't have any of that or half of that if it weren't for his paycheck. If he's making 10 times more.
And like I said, sometimes losing that half
I
of the
agree with
income
that.
is worth losing.
I do agree.
Just
Yeah,
to lose
so-
that
I agree.
aggravation.
I was just asking, that's all.
I do want to go back to what she was saying, where she was saying that, how can I put this? Women, or a lot of men that she's been seeing on TikTok is saying that what benefit do they get from a wife? Honestly, in my personal opinion, the men on TikTok have TikTok. I don't know what the fuck I said. TikTok.
Tic-tac.
The men on TikTok have started saying this or started chanting this and starting, you know, just repeating it because of the whole. It's a retaliation. It's all it is. They're retaliating over this whole "I don't need a man" thing that women say. Because I don't hear you bitching and complaining about that.
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about women in general.
Oh, I'm like, are
I'm
you
talking
saying
about women. I'm talking about women in general.
Whoa.
I don't hear women or what's her name, whoever the fuck that woman was that did that video. I don't hear her bitching complaining about I don't need no man. Women saying I don't need no man. 'Cause it's the
Actually,
exact
she has
same
another
thing.
video. She has another video that I was watching earlier today, where she was talking about how she's tired of hearing women say they don't need a man.
Yeah, I mean we need each other. That's
And
just plain and simple.
That is the part of the video I think that resonated the most with me towards the end when she said, you know, stop with the whole there's no benefit to getting married, because both people benefit from a marriage. Both do.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, let's break this down. Let's break this down. Let's break
Hell,
this down.
Henry, here we
Let's
Hang on,
break
hang
this
on,
here
down.
we go.
Real quick, I'm gonna drop for a couple minutes, but I'm still gonna be here listening.
Okay.
Okay.
I just gotta take care of something real quick.
Okay, so let's break this down. I'm all for marriage. Don't get me wrong, but let's look at it from a logical standpoint, right? What benefit does both men or women get out of marriage? Plain and simple. It is
Companionship.
you get that in a relationship. It doesn't have to be a marriage. You get it in a relationship.
Okay, so I can see where you're going with that. Yes, you don't actually have to get, the legal document saying that you're married. There are some legalities, I think, benefits wise that
Yeah.
There's a couple tax wise, tax deductions,
tax wise, insurance wise,
yeah,
some things
there's
like
very
that.
few, but how many are very, very detrimental to men in the end when you get divorced? A shit ton. You lose half your money. If you lose all your assets, you lose most of the time your kids. If you have kids, you lose your reputation. Sometimes you lose your fucking job. So
Yeah, that's true. Their job.
Well, I mean, I get where you're saying. I'm just going to say from a woman standpoint, divorce isn't peachy either, okay? It's not for us either. It's really not. Because not all of us get half of his money, and not all of us get the house, and not all of us get, a good chunk of us have to start over from scratch, from nothing.
and a good portion of men do too. So
So
I mean,
not
it's
all of
pretty
us-
much even across the board, right?
I think
But-
that I think whenever you take marriage and you just put it in the box of it's only beneficial, tax purposes and things like that, and that's the only reason, and it's not, you've taken away just really the institution of marriage in society and the value of a marriage in society. For a good, productive society, I think marriage is key. It's key for a family, and it's key for the future. And you can't just whittle it down to like this nothing thing. And yeah, some people can just like look at Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. They've been together for like ever
Never,
and never got
yeah.
married. And it works for them, and that's fine. Most people would look at them and just assume that they're married,
It
right?
also could be a PR thing for their situation because they both are very wealthy individuals. It could be a PR thing.
Well, I mean, neither one of them's done anything for a long time, so they're probably normal people these days, right?
But I mean, they just it works for them. But you would look at them; they conduct themselves as if they were a married couple. I think marriage, of course, because our society is not as religious anymore. I think marriage is falling by the wayside. It used to be a huge deal.
I agree.
We're not that way anymore, so that has kind of gone away like everything else. Kind of like, respect and class and dignity and
Yeah.
integrity and all of the things that have gone away. And I don't want to see the institution of marriage go away in our society. But in our society being the way that it is today, and the economy and everything, it has to look a little different.
Yeah.
and
And go ahead, Mike.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. You're fine.
So I was going to go back to what she was talking about with, the husbands not helping out with it, the chores of the house, the kids and shit like that. I think honestly, you only see that on TikTok. You don't really see that in real life, because I know me personally. Yes, it's an anecdotal, but me personally, I help. If I was in a situation where my wife was also working, which we're not, like I said, I'm the only provider in the house. If my wife was also working, we would take turns on doing things, because personally, that's just the way it should be done. If the wife is going and, taking time off to go pick up the kids from school one day, the next day I would do it. If the wife was taking the kid to the doctor one time, the next time I would do it. Just back and forth. That's just the way I think it should be done. That's true partnering, right? Key word, I said partnering, not partnership. Because I think partnering is more important than being a partner in a partnership. So,
My a little off the marriage thing. Partner, and I guess it can kind of go with the same lines of that. And I know we were talking earlier about this. Women has always been able to be a woman for the most part. I really believe that. And men has always been able to be men up until the past, I don't know, maybe
50 years.
I would say 10, honestly. I was going about to say 10. When can a man be a man? Because it seems like when a man tries to be a man, it's in their DNA. It's in the testosterone. And the testosterone levels in men has gone down significantly. And I really don't know why that is. I don't know if it's because women are trying to take control of that and make them more feminine to cater to the women. And, I don't know.
Are you seriously blaming the men's
said I
lack of
don't
testosterone
know.
on women?
But it's down.
The lack
It's
of
down.
masculinity.
It is down.
Masculinity,
Well,
yes. I would blame those.
masculinity you get from
What-
testosterone.
yeah.
I would blame the low testosterone more on like your diet and exercise and things of that
Well,
nature,
no,
and the
not
things the
necessarily.
chemicals that we put in our body.
that is a contributor, but a a type of mental health also builds testosterone. If you have a really low mentality, your body's just not going to generate a lot of testosterone. And look at the food that we eat too, right? A lot of processed food has what's that chemical that?
MSG.
Yeah, but what is it really?
No, I don't know.
It's a hormonal thing, right? That gives estrogen or something like that. It makes the body produce estrogen. I
Interesting.
think that's what it's called for female hormones.
Yes, estrogen.
Yeah. So there's a lot of processed food that has that chemical that makes the body generate a lot of estrogen. So I mean, they're basically taking masculinity out of men all the time. Now, here's my problem with the whole situation. And this is not against all women. I'm not blaming this on all women. I'm blaming this on society. And I'm also blaming this on pretty much anyone that allowed it. When you try to tell men that it is not okay to have anger, you are basically taking away what a man is. Because men take anger, and that is a drive. You are taking away their drive. A man, if he's not angry, he is a worthless man, because the anger drives him to do everything else he does in life.
And it was
Everything.
that goes kind of what I was talking about earlier. It is the more it's suppressed, and honestly, and who suppresses it are your partner, is to don't say nothing, be quiet, basically don't speak your mind, shush, now's not the time to say it. You're suppressing what he wants to do, and you can suppress it and suppress it and suppress it. And once that suppression gets too far, he's going to pop, and all that anger, whether it be for a month or a week or whatever the time frame is, it's going to pop, and it's going to be worse than what it is just him lashing out every now and then. He's got to let it out someday. And I understand women need to let it out too. How they let it out is totally different than guys.
Yeah.
When we let it out, we're just called bitchy.
Well,
And we're called
women have
misogynists and assholes.
women get more opportunity to let out their emotions than men.
Slamming doors, throwing dishes, whatever.
Right.
I mean,
So
hell,
I
there's a prime
agree with
example of
that.
it.
I agree with that. But typically, what a man does to decompress, what their hobby is how they take their anger out. Like if it's a car guy and he's had a bad fucking day, he's gonna go in the garage and it's not gonna seem like he's having a good time. He's gonna be cussing, screaming, throwing wrenches. But that's how he deals with his day.
Yeah.
Right.
And
If you,
we
ain't
don't
throwing,
get
if you ain't throwing tools, it ain't getting done right.
But that suppression doesn't just happen at the home. It happens everywhere.
Right.
It happens in the media. It happens on TV. It happens on the fucking at work. It happens as you walking across the street. It happens at home. It happens from your best friend. It happens from your best friend's wife. I mean, it's everywhere. And now look at the fucking movies that have been produced here lately.
I don't watch new movies. I can't stand the woke movie bullshit.
It's getting really bad. Again, no offense to women, but it's getting really fucking bad
No,
when
I mean
you
I
have.
can get on board with that.
Yeah, look at the Marvel movie. The Marvels, the fucking Marvel, not the
Captain Marvel.
yeah, that's it. Right? Not
Yeah.
that was that is a man in the comic books, but it was created as a woman. And now it's also portraying that women are more powerful than men. Physically not possible.
I'm with you on that. I'm with, and see that's where I find as me personally, a woman today, where, I mean, 44 years old. I was raised in a more traditional household. I would love to be a more traditional wife. The economy, like we've talked about, I can't be. So that's when I say I have to be some kind of a hybrid of traditional roles, but still a working mom. And, there aren't a lot of women voices, like women podcasts, for people in the middle of this. Because we've got people like the women, I'm not going to mention their names, who go to the extreme of women shouldn't vote.
Well, I mean, why aren't women starting their own podcast?
All the
then?
way to the other side where we've got the pink-haired feminists yelling, men ain't shit. Where is the middle ground here that women like me can be okay, like, okay, I love and respect my husband, and I want a traditional marriage, or as much of a traditional marriage as I can in today's society, but I still want to be able to vote and drive a car and own property. I still want to be that kind of a feminist, but I don't want to have pink hair and yell that men ain't shit.
Well, I mean, that's a good question. And that's what I was saying earlier. Why don't women start their own podcast? Because it is majority of men, or you have women doing it for men's advocate rights. And I know you said Brett Cooper. She does a lot of politics. That's
Yeah,
it's a
I
little
love
bit
Brett
different.
Cooper, though. I love
She's
her.
very political.
Now, Brett Cooper's awesome.
So
Yeah,
she is awesome.
She
but
is, but she
it's-
is one of those middle ground people. Like, she's one of those middle ground women.
Most
she's
of
a
her
bit
topics are
traditional.
political, though.
Yeah, they are. The majority of her stuff, the company that she works for is politics.
Yeah.
So the Daily Wire is all
Right.
political.
What
But
is
you
it,
need to find a woman
Wire?
that actually does it. And if you can't find one, then in my opinion, I think is to be the woman to create it, to find that middle ground for the women are like-minded like you. But there's not, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if they're scared or if they're just trying to plant a picture of fixation. I don't know.
I think what it is you have a lot of the middle ground people, and I mean, shit, we are kind of middle ground as well, right? Me and Mike and Bobby, we're all kind of middle ground. The most extreme people on either side are
They're the
very,
ones that
very
get
loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Squeaky
are
wheel
very,
gets
very
the
loud.
grease.
Yeah, they are. If you do start doing something, you're probably going to get overwhelmed from either side here lately. That's just the
yeah.
way it works. You're going
And
to be.
I feel if you're getting it from both sides, you're doing something right. That's just how I think. You're
Right.
doing something right.
I agree.
Oh, excuse me.
Take example of my TikTok. I mean, I used to get bashed all the time, and I used to get hated a lot, and I'm still hated quite a bit. But I'm like, I feel like I'm doing something right. I got a good following. I've got good people coming in there and supporting me. But then there's also them other people like, you're a piece of shit. You're this and you're that. Well, I'm doing something right. If I'm on your mind, I live rent free. I'm happy with it. I'm doing something right. I triggered you.
Right.
You don't like what I have to say.
You can look at that two different ways, right? I mean, yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, you could be, you might think you're doing something right, but somebody else might think you're doing something
Yeah.
wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But that's the thing.
That's what I'm just saying. If I'm doing something wrong, don't take your time. If it's that big of a deal, you don't have to constantly message somebody to let them know they're doing wrong. Because if you constantly harass somebody and constantly message somebody that you're doing wrong and you're all kinds of names under the book, to me, I'm doing something right. That's how I look at it as. I'm
Right,
doing something
no.
right to trigger you, to make you mad, to take time out of your day, every day, to message me a hateful fucking message.
Yeah, but if that one person turns into thousands of people, then obviously you're doing something wrong.
Not necessarily.
No.
Not necessarily.
Not
Again, I
necessarily.
mean, like look at Andrew Tate, for example. He's not the greatest person, but he's not
Yeah, you
necessarily
got a
doing
point.
anything terrible either.
Well, according to women, he's fucking destroying.
Right.
He's
That's what I'm
turning
saying.
boys
That's what I'm
horribly.
saying. That's what keeps him relevant. If
I
it
stand by
wasn't-
that statement.
I do
wasn't
agree.
for that
There's some
hate.
statements that he says that is like irrelevant. I'm like, dude, I don't even agree with that. But like you said, Henry, it's how he portrays the message, the words that come out of his mouth. Now,
Right. But if it wasn't for that hate, he wouldn't be relevant.
right.
Yes.
It's what keeps him relevant. If you're doing something right, you're gonna get hate for it. Simple as that. If all you get is praise, you're probably wrong.
I don't know, man. I mean, look at Taylor Swift.
Terrible person. I don't like her.
I mean, all
Well,
her songs are better.
Most men don't like her. Most men don't like her, right?
And
Right,
I'm
but that's
totally
what keeps her
Switzerland about
relevant.
Taylor Swift. I could care less either way. Like, I just
But
don't.
there you go. There's a prime example. She caters to the younger women, the younger ladies in their teens, in late teens, and early 20s. She caters more to the younger generation as a
It's
pop
her
star.
target demographic.
Yeah, it's a pop star because of what she's talking about is relationships and boys.
But I guarantee if she started portraying the same message that Andrew Tate portrayed to boys, but just flipped it to women, you would have the same fucking situation with females.
Right.
Yeah.
Guarantee it. Because
Probably.
younger
agree,
women
and like I
idolize
said-
her.
Like I said, that's what keeps them relevant.
Yeah.
If they were doing something that wasn't correct, like if it was absolutely 100% wrong and all they got was praise, they wouldn't stay relevant because people are gonna go, oh, maybe that's
Controversy
not right.
sells.
And they're slowly gonna drop off.
So- One thing I would like to mention, which I don't think the video really went into it at all, but a lot of the red pill content does. The one thing that a lot of the red pill content does go into is one fact that men have not changed. Men have been the same throughout history. Now we've gotten more feminine than we used to,
And that's
but-
what I'm saying. Men can't be men anymore.
Yeah.
And who really, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's a different term, or different verbiage of what you're using. That's exactly what I mean. Men
But
can't
I'm talking
be men
about
anymore.
I'm talking about the expectations from men, right?
Well, you can have expectations, but the moment you blurt it out, is you're in the wrong. You're misogynist.
yeah,
So that's what I'm saying. Men can't be men. They can't speak their minds. And when they do speak their minds, they're told to shush. And where is that coming from is my question. It's not about blaming. Is it coming from women? Because other men typically don't shut other men up like that when they're onto something.
They don't.
So
I don't see him like,
Cue every TikTok live you've ever had.
well, look who's actually saying that. Look who's saying it though. So
Well, I mean-
you talking about the newer generation of young boys, and I'm going to say young boys because they're not even young men because they're hiding behind a screen for one.
now
They're hiding behind animation videos and animation profile picture. Those are the ones that's sitting there saying it. The ones that hide.
I will say something that will probably piss you off, Mel. Every single woman wants a man that's better than her. If you really look at your preferences, every single woman on earth wants a man better than her. Because they want somebody that's taller, they want somebody that's a protector, they want somebody that's a provider. That's the main three things that women want from men.
Well, okay, so
In order to be a provider, right? You have to be better than you. You have to be getting something more than them. In order to protect them, they have to be stronger and more lethal than them. And then they have to be taller, which physically makes them more stronger than you.
Okay, so I'm just I see what you're saying, and I'm not going to pull out my earrings and flick off my shoes just yet.
Or
But
rings.
so I would argue that because you are stronger and a protector, that makes you better. It makes you
Yes.
stronger and it makes you more of a protector. Does that make you better than me?
Okay. So I think I know where you're going with this. And let's look at for performance, right? In any type of performance measure, Bigger, stronger always equals better.
Okay, I'm going to counter this and say that most men want a wife that's better than them because the women are gentler, kinder, more nurturing. Am I wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. But that doesn't
So-
mean just because you're more
Are those
gentle,
not better?
nurturing. Oh, they're good. They're
They're
not
better.
They're
I gotta-
good.
better.
They're
I
not
gotta get some
better.
bourbon. I'm stepping up from a live on YouTube. I don't care right now. I do.
They're
need to get some
better
bourbon.
though. That would
So
be
that's my
that
whole
would be
point.
better.
Though.
Wait,
That's my
No,
whole
I
point,
don't-
though.
I don't necessarily agree with either Mel or Henry. I would like to have Mel like reiterate how those are better though. Like that just so I understand how like brute force is better than being gentle. Like you don't come to a home and like you don't have a home attacker come into you like your house and you go, oh, hang on, let me help you out here. No, you fucking fight them. You do what you got to do to protect
Right.
your own. Yeah,
Right.
the gentle is not better.
It is whenever you're
gentle,
looking for a wife
nurturing.
who's a mother of your children.
Right. That's nurturing. Nurturing's fine. There's
So-
different ways
so-
to nurture though.
And don't you dare start spouting
hold up.
statistics about how single dads are better at parenting than single moms.
So
Because you're going to
okay.
get a big O.
Here we go.
F
Hold
off.
up, hold up. So you just said, right? So being more gentle is better at being a parent, correct? Yes or no? That's a yes or no question.
At some ages of parenting, yes.
Okay. So if that is more, if that is better, then why is the women bitching and complaining that they have to go tend to the children that they are better at doing?
Are you for real right now?
I just
think
called
it's
you
a valid
bullshit.
question.
Then why, if you are stronger,
Oh, I can go pick them up and throw them around the room.
if you are stronger and taller, that means you could probably clean things a lot better than I could. So
Absolutely.
why are you bitching
Absolutely.
about having to participate in the cleaning of the household?
I clean the house.
I'm not saying you in particular. Men in general. If
Uh,
you're stronger, you can probably scrub that soap
I've-
scum way easier than I can.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you.
So I do agree with that, but I mean that also goes back to what is the career? What are the career paths that they took? Is he in a vigorous career where he's sore after 8 hours of building houses or whatever the hell it may be? And
Let's say
He-
let's say he works a white collar job. Okay. All right.
that's different.
How?
White collar being like office work, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
if that's the case, he can come home and do some work. It's not as strenuous.
Okay. Can we all agree that
No, absolutely fucking not. Hell no. No. Mental exhaustion is worse than physical exhaustion.
oh,
I think they kind of
that was going to be my next question was
Oh,
can we all agree
Lordy.
that some white collar jobs and office jobs can be mentally stressful? They may not be
Absolutely.
physically stressful, but
Absolutely.
mentally they take a toll.
You know, mental exhaustion is actually worse than physical exhaustion because mental exhaustion makes the body physically exhausted as well.
Yeah, that's
Thank
what
you, Henry.
I did say that earlier.
Oh,
Don't even say bullshit. I did say that earlier.
the only-
I did say you
So
said
the
also
only
office
reason
work
I
is
say
not,
this is because I work in a white collar job.
I did say that earlier. You said, oh, so you're saying a desk and office job is not. I said no, it is exhausting. It can be mentally exhausting.
Now I will
White
say,
collars, I did say that can be mentally exhausting.
I will admit, when I was infantry, I was fucking physically exhausted a lot, but the exhaustion that I get from mental exhaustion since I am a white collar right now is way worse than being in. I'd rather be infantry, man. I'm not going to fucking lie.
See, I disagree. I disagree. I mean, I did construction for like 14 years from the time I was 13 to the time I was 27. I would never do that again. Ever.
So here's the difference between mental exhaustion or in a job that's physical versus a job that's mental. In a job that's physical, your body eventually fixes itself to be used to that type of work. It doesn't hurt you anymore. It doesn't get you
get
don't get-
calluses. You don't-
exactly.
yeah.
You don't get as
Right, no,
tiring
so-
as fast, right?
You can't get calluses in your brain.
Dude, mental exhaustion fucking sucks. You can't. Your brain cannot
I
get used to it.
understand that. I understand that. But when you are carrying shingles up a ladder for 5 hours a day, there's a mental exhaustion there too, as well as physical.
But
It's this monogamous.
I agree. It's
bullshit.
monogamous. It's really repetitive. It's routine. But that's because you are starting to get bored. Right? You got to entertain yourself to be able to
Sure.
make it better. Because you could take somebody that is doing a very physically demanding job, make their mentality very happy, and they'll fucking work all day long with no issues. But if you take somebody that's depressed or fucking their mindset's just all fucked up, they're not going to work. They're not going to perform any physical labor as they would if they were happy.
Right.
So I
So-
have an ex-husband.
That's both styles of work. If you're depressed, you don't give a fuck about your work. That's just the way it works.
Well,
Yeah.
true.
If you're happy, if you're in a good mindset, you're gonna do your work. You're gonna get it done. You're gonna get paid.
And it's not classified as work at that point.
So my ex-husband used to always throw in my face because now this wasn't my daughter's dad. This was my other ex-husband. He worked a physically strenuous job. He owned a HVAC company, so he installed air conditioners and whatnot. So that is a physically
That is
strenuous
hard
job.
work.
And I would come home because my job sometimes required me to work evenings and weekends, depending on what was going on in the community. I would have to go work for emergencies and things like that. Now, yes, when I was working emergencies and disasters, it was 9 times out of 10 in the office setting. But I would put in a 14, 15, 16-hour day mentally working
Right.
and would come home and he would say that I had no reason to bitch because all I did was sit in an office all day. And I wasn't out in the elements and I wasn't out doing all of this, that, and the other and working hard. So therefore, I should still be able to come home and do my normal after working all those hours.
I ain't gonna lie. I used to say the same thing. I used to think that people that did desk jobs were fucking lazy. I'm not gonna lie. I admit the shit.
But I didn't.
I
Why are you
admit
looking
it.
at me?
I'm not gonna
didn't
lie.
say
I-
You
it.
laughed,
I
that's
used to-
why.
I laughed because I
used
just
to
asked
think
you.
that.
I just asked you if you staple enough papers for the day.
Yeah, every day. He says, I said
pick on
something
you,
of
though.
every day,
I do.
every day, every single
pick, I
day. He'll
pick.
be like, oh, you
pick.
stapling enough papers today? How many papers did you staple? Did you get a paper cut?
Hey, I admit
do,
it.
but-
I'm not gonna lie. I used to think desk people or people that worked behind a desk were lazy because to me it just didn't seem like it was very extenuous or very laborious work. But after doing that shit, fuck, I would rather do physical work any day than mental work.
Yeah, no,
Mental
But
work sucks.
I will say this though
I-
about your
I-
job. You have it made. Like you have it made to where the point where you can come in late
I do.
and you can leave early. You have the blessing to do so. You're very You're fortunate with your job and the people that you work with. So you're very fortunate than other
I
other
get that.
office people.
I get that flexibility after having been there 20 years, and also with the fact that my job is technically on call 24/7. That I could and have on numerous occasions had to go in, and you sit over there and laugh.
I do.
Had to go in at night or on the weekends. So yeah, I have more flexibility to come and go as I please. I didn't used to have that flexibility, but it has come with the time and seniority that I've been there. Okay.
I just said okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's grass is greener on the other side in everybody's eyes, right? That's just the way it is.
Until you get over there, then it's not
Yeah.
so green.
Well, you know what they say about that, right? The grass is always greener because there's more shit on that side.
Yeah.
Or
And
somebody
what
pissed
makes
over there more.
what makes the grass grow? Blood, blood, blood.
That's true.
Or the
too.
grass is greener over there because somebody's taking care of it.
Or you can use fertilizer. You can use dog shit. Your dog shits in the yard. Fuck that.
That's what I'm saying. That
Mulch that shit with your lawnmower. It spreads it out. It's fertilizer. It's natural green grass. It's good for your grass. That's why I don't pooper skippers. Fuck that. I'm running that shit over the lawnmower.
That shit stinks too, though, man. Ugh.
Dude, I don't smell shit anymore, so it doesn't matter. I don't smell too much, so I'm like, I just rawr. I just get it.
But no, a lot of that video that woman was talking about, there's some valid points, but there's a lot of, honestly, there's a lot of bitterness in it. She's basically just tired of hearing everything on TikTok that everybody's talking about, on both sides.
Yeah.
Same. I am as well.
I agree with that.
And that's why I said, like, I need to find the middle of TikTok somewhere. I need to find that my algorithm needs to algorithm better.
Why
You gotta do more searches.
So that
Yeah.
Why
that's
don't you?
never gonna happen on TikTok.
Why don't you just start your own podcast?
Hit me up. We'll start something.
You want women to be like with minds like you, for women like you to come and discuss and talk. Why don't you just go ahead and do it?
There is one woman on TikTok. She's been on my For You page for a while. I don't know if it's because of my algorithm or not, but she is that married single mother that she does lives every day. And I'm like, why are you even displaying this? But
Yeah,
then, I understand.
We all know someone. Well, yeah, I'd say all of us. All of us know someone that does the exact same shit, constantly complaining, but is on TikTok like at least 20 hours a day.
Or constantly complaining and never does anything to fix the problem that they're complaining about.
Right.
Yeah. So
You mean complaining on TikTok doesn't fix it?
Well, complaining in general. No,
So,
complaining in general, but yeah,
there-
it don't fix it. You're right.
There
TikTok
was
does
something
not fix it.
there was something I got taught when I was a young soldier, and Mike, you've probably heard this too when you joined the military. There's two types of complaining. There's
Yeah.
complaining, which is considered bitching, and then there's a problem solving. Right? That's the difference. Is do you provide a solution to fix the problem? If you have a problem with
Right.
something and you only complain about it, you're just bitching.
You know
But
what's
if
funny?
you are complaining about it and then provide a solution, you're problem solving.
I didn't hear
Right.
that. I didn't ever hear that in the Navy, but I heard that from my DI in the Army, and I'll never forget his name. His name. His actual name was Jill Sergeant Brown, and he was, man. I tell you what, he's a great mentor. He was a staff sergeant, and he was about be retired. We was his last push. He was going to go for his E7. He's like, nah, I'm done. I got my 21 years in. I'm just done. So yeah, we was his last push. And he said exactly that. And that's the first time I ever heard that in the Army. And I'm like, dude, that's just like, that resonated. It's so true.
Yeah, it's very true. And just since you mentioned that, I got my basic training picture here. I want to show you my drill sergeant because the dude looks like Snoop Dogg. He looks like Snoop Dogg. No joke.
Oh, wow. You got to make that a bigger picture, man.
I got you.
Oh.
Hey, how you guys doing? Welcome to the MB Show Unfiltered.
There we go.
He does look like Snoop Dogg.
It does.
It does look a lot like.
Are those, he's got the A, is that, no, that's not the ACUs. No, yeah, it is. That is the ACUs he's wearing.
I mean, that
No,
was
that's
back
not
in the
ACUs,
that
that's
was back in
BDUs.
the
It
that
look-
was back in the 1900s.
that
This
looked like
was-
it was ACUs.
Wow.
from-
No,
It
wow.
was from the 1900s. It looked like it was ACUs because of how far and small it is. That's why.
That was BDUs. That was the old timey BDUs. I've got 5 different types of military clothing.
You've been through it.
I've only got ACUs. That's all I ever got issued by ACUs. That's all I,
got-
ever wore was ACUs, period.
I
But
got
you've been in
BDUs.
23 years.
I got BDUs that I was issued when I went through basic and AIT. And then we got chocolate chips when we went to Mogadishu. And then I got ACUs when we went to, or no, deserts, DCUs, when we went to Afghanistan and Iraq.
I
And then we
I
got-
didn't get those. I got ACUs.
I didn't. I got ACUs after I came back from Iraq.
All my everything was deployment was ACUs. That was it.
And then we got OCPs. I think it was like my 4th deployment. Yeah, it was like I got 5 different types of fucking TA50. It's just horrible.
Damn.
Well, this live kind of went a little different, and she's on her phone on a live YouTube. I mean, we might just, I don't know, I might leave this up on YouTube. I don't know.
Well, it's live, so
Yeah, it's live. It's
Well, I know it's live right now, but when you get done and end it, we can go ahead and do whatever we want with it. But I wish I had more people in here in the comments and talking about and having a good old time.
well, I mean, you can't do that unless you have a big following, right?
we'll get there.
We'll get there. We're starting out, man. It's just the way it is.
I know Mike is so like, let's go. We gotta get there. I'm like,
I'm used
dude,
to people
it takes
I'm
time,
used to
it takes time.
interaction.
It's
Used to
like
interaction.
it's literally like building a fucking
Car in flight.
yeah. I mean, you got to start from the bottom, man. That's just the way it works.
Well, we can end this if you want to try to go live on a podcast Facebook group. We can. It's
That's up to
you
y'all.
guys. I mean, it's up to Henry if you got
Not
time.
tonight. It's already 11 o'clock, man.
Oh shit! I didn't realize it was 10 o'clock already. My time.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and
We'll end this.
yeah.
Y'all have a good night.
Everybody have a good night.
See y'all.
Don't forget